Numbers 33, and maybe next week we'll combine the next two chapters. It's a long chapter, but it's just a lot of reading in it. I mean, a lot of places in this chapter. So we had sorry. Numbers chapter 33. Numbers chapter 33. All right, brother, whenever you're ready, give us the first two verses.
These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt, with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of Yahweh. And these are their journeys according to their goings out.
So it's making a record of their travels when they left the land of Egypt. All I'm saying. Okay. Let's keep going.
And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians.
All right. So they departed out of Ramses in the first month. All right. Remember when we start with Exodus, right? It start telling us this is going to be the first month to you. We're going to go to it. And then, so it's the first month. And then the 15th day is when you what? Left out. Okay. The morrow of the Passover. So Passover, the day of Passover is the 14th. The 15th is when what? Left out. All right. So there is separation. Let's go to Exodus 12. Let's go to Exodus 12. It says the first month. How did he know? Let's go to read verse 1 and 2. Exodus 12 and verse 1 and 2.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron and the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So this should be the beginning of months to you. So for us, we have a beginning of month that the Most High has assigned us. We don't go with the counter that we see here. Their month don't start the time where the Most High starts it. So he's saying this is going to be the first month to what? Not there, to you. We have to realize when we're looking at these things from the Bible, this is for you. Sometimes we always applying everything that this is for you. You as believers, you that believe you're the children of God, these things are for you. Let's go down to let's go to verse 6 real quick.
And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it at the evening.
So you're gonna hold it up to the 14th day of the month, so the 14th day, and then in the evening, right, you're going to kill it. Everybody will kill it during that evening. So this is where you're killing it. Right? Then we're just gonna go to the point of the passage. So let's go to let's step down to verse 37.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children.
So this is where we left out. And once again, it's giving us the what? It's telling us from Ramses to Succoth. This is when we left out, and we know this is what? The 15th day. So let's go back to Numbers 33. Remember Ramses to Succoth. So read that verse 5 again, Brother Kai.
And the children of Israel removed from Ramses and pitched in Succoth.
Mhm. Right. Oh, matter of fact, I think I made y'all skip some stuff. I'm sorry. Verse 3, verse 3.
Oh, my bad.
No, I said to read there, so I told you to skip it.
And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month.
Hmm.
Tomorrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the
And
Egyptians.
this was told beforehand. And if we go to Exodus, it should show us. Yep. Verse 35, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and Yahweh gave the people favor and all the sight of Egypt, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. All right. So anything we was asked for, they was giving it to us. Okay, remember everybody losing they lost their firstborns, so they probably thinking we are bad omens or whatever. Y'all need to get out. So that whatever we was asking, they were just throwing their jewelry and stuff to us. And remember, Egypt was very wealthy. They were a powerhouse in the whole world. Right? So they had it, but they were giving it all to us. And this is very important because this is where we got a lot of our stuff from. And even remember when we go to the story, remember when they was taking the earrings off and the bracelets and making that's how they made their gold image. They had a lot because Most High, when we left there, he made sure we were spoiled. Now, when it says borrow, don't think we was thinking about giving it back. All right. There was no borrowing as in we was planning to give it back. They gave it to us for us to just leave out of there. Let's go back to Numbers now. And all right, so the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. All right, they saw all of us. Okay, and verse 4.
For the Egyptians bury all their firstborn, which Yahweh has smitten among them. Upon their gods also Yahweh executed judgments.
So remember the last plague was what? Killing all the firstborn. And upon their gods also the Lord executed judgments, because we know there's a correlation between all those plagues that the Most High put on them. He was doing two things at once, right? He was going at their gods, the things that they believed in. He was what? Destroying it. And after a while, they had to throw their hands up and saying, "Truly, there's a God. There's another entity of it. It's working here." And this is an approach when you're even trying to convert people. Sometimes you got to destroy the idols that they have in their head for them to actually realize the
Mhm.
true power of God. So God, when He was doing those things, I'm turning water into blood. They had gods that they had dealing with definitely the Nile River and everything. I don't know if it was a symbol of the crocodile or the alligator. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But that was a very big the water source, very big thing. Okay, the cattle, right? The sun, all these things is uh idolatry, and they was worshiping these things as gods. The Most High God was messing with all these plagues and was attacking these gods to let them know all those things, all those gods you think that have power and you think exist and can do anything for you. Mm-mm. So I mean, none of them have more power than me. So this is the reputation when we left out of Egypt. Like, man, Israel, oh, their God fights for them. Their God does things. Right? Because people will give a lot of credit to their gods for doing certain things, but they literally seen it. No, their God was just demonstrating their power on the most, I would say at that time, most powerful civilization there. Okay, so this was the Most High showing his power, but that's the judgment he was putting on Egypt. Right, so the plagues can be judgments. Same thing today. Plagues can be judgments. Let's keep going.
And the children of Israel removed from Ramses and pitched in Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and pitched in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham and turned again unto Paharoth, which is before Baal Zephon. And they pitched before Migdol.
Yeah, you got a lot of reading. I ain't gonna keep cutting you off. Let's keep going.
And they departed from before Paharoth and passed through the midst of the sea in the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah and came unto Etham, and in Etham were 12 fountains of water, and 60 and 10 palm trees, and they pitched there. And they removed from Elam and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin.
And just real quick, forgot I think something happened here too. Can't think of the top of my head. All right. But you can see some symbolism even with the 12 fountains of water, right? 12 and three score and 10 was at 70, right? You can see some good correlation with that. However, when you see the wilderness, okay, there's not just when we go in further chapters and books, you're gonna see wilderness. Some people, when they see wilderness, they think it's just one wilderness. Like there's This is one wilderness that's called wilderness. No, a wilderness was like an uninhabitable place and things of that nature. So they had different wildernesses. That's why it's specifying leave here. And it camped in the wilderness of sin. All right. So when you see wilderness, do not think it just has to be even the wilderness where we were at when we were leaving Egypt. And so, just a little FYI, because sometimes you might hear that like it's only one wilderness. Even in prophecies, people will go and say it has to be in a certain wilderness because this can be the only thing. Because when they hear wilderness, it's only in one spot, one place. All right. So you'll see those kind of conversations. Some of y'all might not run into it, but when you really dive into hearing conversations, you'll hear some of those things. Right. A lot of times we can look at a lot of people refer to where we at now as a wilderness. Right. So you will hear different things, but just wanted to show that because we're going to see another one as well. But let's keep going.
And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dithka. And they departed from Dithka and encamped in Alush. And they removed from Alush and encamped at Rephidim, where was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai.
Hmm.
Moved from Sinai, the desert of Sinai, and they removed from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kabroth Hatava. And they departed from Kabroth Hatava and camped at Hazeroth. And they departed from Hazeroth and pitched in Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and pitched at Ramon Paraz. And they departed from Ramon Paraz and pitched in Libnah. And they removed from Libnah and pitched at Rasah. And they journeyed from Rasah and pitched in Kehitha. Kehitha. Yeah. And they went from Kehithagon and pitched in Mount Shefer. And they removed from Mount Shefer and encamped in Haradah. And they removed from Haradah and pitched in Mechaloth. And they removed from Mechaloth and encamped at Tahath. And they departed from Tahath and pitched at Tarah. And they removed from Tarah and pitched in Mithkah. And they went from Mithkah and pitched in Hermon, Heshmonah, Salaki. And they departed from Heshmonah and encamped at Masorath. And they departed from Masorath and pitched in Benajaka. And they removed from Benajaka and encamped at Perhag. Messing this up,
I can't help you with these, Brother Kai.
Oh man, I ain't never read this before. I should have rehearsed this. And they went from Hor Hakagag and pitched in Jabatha. And they removed from Jabatha and encamped at Ebrona. And they departed from Ebrona and encamped at Ezon Geber. And they removed from Ezon Geber and pitched in the wilderness of Sin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor in the edge of the land of Edom.
All praise. Let's get that brother.
Woo! Woo!
Amen.
Oh man.
Amen.
All praise.
I used to be a reader and I used to be like, oh, when I
Woo!
used to see them names. Talking
Oh,
about speaking in tongues.
woo!
uh,
All praise.
so I told you you're gonna need that water. I didn't want to keep breaking them up. When we look at this, when we go through some of the stories, some of these places probably ring the bell because some of them been talked about. So certain ones should point out to you because certain events happen in some of these places. And I tell you also, when you're looking at them, sometimes the names can change of places depending on Who's telling the story? What time frame? Because remember, people will take over certain spots and they'll name it after the thing that they take over, right? So it might be known to Egyptians as this name, but to us, right, we might have called it this. So that don't happen with everything. But sometimes when you look at history, looking at certain things, you will see, well, they called it this name, they called it this name. Oh, they must be wrong or they must be off and everything because they called the wrong name. That's not always the case, right? Because like I said, take over certain things, the name can change. You can change it. So just a little FYI. But let's keep going. So now we're at Kadesh and pitched in the Mount Hor. That should sound familiar as well. In the edge of the land of Edom.
Hmm?
All right, we heard about Edom. Let's read verse 38. I mean, let's read 38.
And ere the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of Yahweh and died there. In the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, and the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor.
All right, let's hold on real quick. Let me see.
Mhm.
Uh, let's go to chapter 20 in Numbers. Okay, so we're just going a few chapters back because it's not out of order, but they're like jump here, then doing this, right? It does that sometimes. So let's go to chapter 20 because it's important that they told about this time where Aaron did die. Because remember, something was said. Let's go to let's go to 18. Remember, this is a few weeks ago, right? When we was going to Numbers 20. All right. Well, yeah, far back, right? Numbers 20, we read this, but we probably forgot some of the stuff that happened here because we've been, kind of jumped in certain things since then. So let's go to Numbers 20, go to verse 18 if you don't mind. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but let's go to 18 and see if this can kind of ring some bells for us. So this is Numbers chapter 20 and verse 18.
And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword.
Remember we was going by. We was
Mhm.
asking to come by, and they're like, "Nope, you can't come in here. If you try to come through here, we're gonna kill y'all." Remember we tried to get permission. Remember that whole story. This was happening. Okay, so remember Edom, verse 19.
And the children of Israel said unto him, We will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet.
We're like, listen, man, we just want to. We say take long, but we let us go through there and listen. If the cattle drink, because cattle will probably need to drink, right? We'll pay for the water that they drink, which probably sounds crazy, like paying for the water for them to drink. But nonetheless, there we're showing you that what we was trying to we was just trying to go to where we are supposed to go, and they're being all difficult. So, beloved, remember that as well. We don't want to be it's with anybody. Don't just be difficult, nasty just to be nasty and difficult.
Right.
I mean, that's not a good spirit to have, and that can cost you. Right? Or right now you might have the power and authority to be in that because you're in that power seat, whatever that may be in that situation. But then you might have a situation where you're not in that power seat, and you want that person that you're requesting, asking that favor for to have mercy upon you. But guess what? Now they might reflect that same spirit you had on that person. So we want to make sure we're always being mindful and thoughtful. Definitely when the Most High elevate us, because He can elevate you. But if you're not doing right in that elevation, He can and He will most likely humble you. So always remember, this is what we're doing. You start to forget how you got there. If you really believe the Most High has elevated you, you should be acting what? In a certain way. But some of us think we did it and we got that elevation. We this and this, and we'll act a certain way. A certain spirit will overcome us. But beloved, we ought to be humble.
Mhm.
Right? We ought to show compassion, all those good things. But let's see what's happening. Verse 20. Verse 20.
And he said, thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand.
So they responded with an army. Y'all not coming through here. Y'all try to come through here. Oh, it's going to be war. It's going to be death. Read.
Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him.
So Israel was like, all right, we ain't trying to fight. We ain't trying to go to war. We removed ourselves. Let's keep going.
And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Or.
Remember, we just read that to the edge of Edom, which is all right. Seeing the correlation, these journeys we're taking. Okay. Let's read. Keep reading.
Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron and Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, And shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah.
So remember this. This is why it need to show that Aaron died, because what they're doing, they're talking about going to promised land. Mosai didn't forget about this. Remember, Aaron, no, you're not going. Because what did Aaron do, beloved? What's always been the big problem? Rebelled against my word. He couldn't make the promised land because he rebelled against his word, God's word. We, beloved, will not make it to the promised land if we rebel against his word. It's not hard to get in there, beloved. The Bible don't make it, they're not making it hard to get the rewards of God. Man doesn't put all these stipulations and making it hard, but it's supposed to be easy thing. He desires, he wants us in there. Why would you make it hard if you want us in there? Only thing we have to do is be obedient. Put God first. And it's an easy exchange when you understand that everything you have, everything that's good, it comes from him. So it should be an easy thing to prioritize the person that's been taking care of you in every aspect of your life. If you believe that. If you don't believe that, then yes, that's when we're going to have we're going to have troubles. But this is where we have to get our mind. We have to take that unbelief and that doubt. That's what holds us back. And when we can get our minds converted and truly believe that everything comes from the Most High, it's going to be an easy thing to submit to him. But if we want to rebel, beloved, we could be like Aaron. I'm not saying Aaron. Let me make sure I say this right. If we got the internet right, I'm not saying Aaron ain't going to make it to the kingdom. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he couldn't make it to this promised land. All right, he couldn't go into the land of Canaan. However, this is something to let us know we will not make it to the actual kingdom if we rebel against his word. So his punishment literally was he can't get into the land. I don't have nothing. I don't know when the brothers y'all remember anything more than that, with Aaron and saying, you know what I mean? All I got is he didn't make it, he didn't make it into the promised land, which is the land of Canaan. But I won't attach the kingdom to that. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So because he rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Keep going.
Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there.
So he go up into the Mount Hor, and he's saying, listen, bring his son because what's happening? There's going to be a transition. One high priest is going down, and what? We get another high priest. Like the law states, remember even in Hebrews, it makes the same thing. We had to have many high priests because what? When one died, you got to replace it with another one. This is different. This is what I'm saying, Mosaic is the Mosaic law on how the Most High had it here for this order. This is the order of Aaron because there's death in the order of Aaron. So yes, there's going to have to be a change of priest because they're going to die. But when it comes to the Most High God and talk about that order of Melchizedek, which is dealing with Christ, is eternal. So you don't have to go through that system of changing of high priests. Christ will always be that high priest forever. So that's the exchange when we talk about the order of Aaron and then the order of Melchizedek. Right? One is from a carnal line, like of the flesh, you're going to see it deal with death. One is of a spiritual line of eternity, it's dealing with Christ. That's why we don't need no other. They try to bring other saviors or the high priest stuff like that. It's like, no, they don't understand what Christ is doing. All right, Christ has handled it. Now it's done. We don't have to look for no more, no other thing, no Muhammad, none of them other ones. Nope. He is that one, and because he's in that order, it's eternal. So we're not do no more shifting and looking and trying to change it up or people trying to be it. He's the high priest. Yeah. All right. So nonetheless, for this one, he's getting replaced by what? One of his sons. Right? You cannot, the high priest, remember when it talks about that line, because you're going to see in the New Testament, it talks about that carnal, right? The law being carnal. It's not talking about the whole law. This law, you can specify, look at it right here. This law was carnal. Why do you say carnal? That means sin. No, people are telling you carnal means sin. Carnal does not mean sin, right? Carnality is dealing with the flesh. You can equate flesh to sin because a lot of people, when you get in your flesh, you sin, right? Those things happen. However, when you're dealing with carnality, dealing with the flesh, that's dealing with what? It's flesh and blood. So that law was dealing with carnality because what? You become a priest according to the flesh. You couldn't, Judah could, tribe Judah, could they be? Nope. Issachar, nope. Reuben, nope. You could not be a high priest from these other tribes. It was a carnal commandment. It was a fleshly commandment to how you become the what? The priest according to the order of Aaron or that dispensation of Aaron. Melchizedek wasn't dictated upon a carnal commandment of the flesh that you had to be of Levi, because this is why Paul's saying it's evident our Lord sprang out of Judah, which there's no mention of a priest coming from Judah. And it couldn't be according to the law right here, because this you had to be the order. I mean, you had to be of the line of Aaron, that Levitical priesthood. All right. But when you come to order Melchizedek, it's not confined to a tribe. Okay. So this is why Christ can fall under that. Christ couldn't be, listen to me, according to flesh, he couldn't be this. You had to come from that tribe of Levi. All right. So that's why Paul mentions these things when you read in Hebrews. We'll reiterate it again, but this is the big thing. Order of Aaron, how it's going according to the law. The order of Melchizedek is a spiritual one. Order of Aaron, you got to be the seed line going through Levi. Order of Melchizedek, not the same. All right, it's a long journey. Let's keep reading.
And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died before there in the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel.
Sure, they love him, even though some of them rebelled against Aaron. Everybody allowed me to love you to death. Okay. No, nonetheless, they did their 30 days. I did see, I don't know the proper time. I seen little things of, time of mourning, but for the most part, it seemed like the 30, 40 days will be that time frame. And it does have benefits of getting that time. I'm not saying this and have to be this long or required to cry that long, but mourning over something, getting stuff out, that's okay. Right? It's not a sin to cry. No, people that mean a lot to you, that loss, not having that spirit, that common spirit, whatever it was, right, that touched you, you're losing that. It can make us cry. So that's that's no problem with mourning. There's they mourn for 30 days. Definitely when it comes to you know people of that caliber, that status, the nation can mourn for that. That was our high priest. So let's keep going. So nonetheless, it was just show. I just wanted to show you that he died there. So when we read that verse 30, let's read that 38 again, Brother Kai.
You said 30?
37. Go 37. We're back at Numbers
Oh,
33.
all right, come on.
I'm sorry. We're gonna go back to Numbers 33.
And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor and the edge of the land of Edom.
Mhm.
And here the priests went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of Yahweh and died there. In the 40th year, after the children of Israel were come up out of the land of Egypt, and the first day of the 5th month.
All right. So it's been how long since they left, beloved? That's another reason they showing this timestamp. In the 40th year, 40 years later, children of Israel will come out of the land of Egypt. So since that time in Exodus 12, it was the first month, the 15th day of the month, right? Unleavened bread. We were getting out of Egypt. It's been 40 years since that day, that time, and now they're where? First day of the 5th month. So it's been 40 years and 4 months and first day of the 5th month, not even 4 months later. Reading some change, okay? So just saying 40 years later, they just getting to this point, all right? But they're close to what? The promised land. So he still had to fulfill what? They had to die to not get in there. And this is it's showing these details to show you how detailed the Most High is. Saying you're not going to get in there. So they wasn't going to take a step. Nuh-uh. He has to go. Then we had to get all the ones that was being rebellious. They got to get wiped out, right? He had to take out a lot, basically a whole generation. He said, because y'all didn't, okay, I'm going to take y'all all out. And just Caleb and Joshua. So he had to do all that. That's why this journey, it didn't have to be this long. I have to look it up again. Oh, I keep forgetting. I want to, I don't know if it will take, I think somebody said 40 days. I'm not sure if it's 40 days or not, but they said the journey don't take close to 40 years to get to. He was just basically, kind of taking us on this travel, but what? People had to get taken out. His word had to come through. And now I'm guessing all them wiped out and got Aaron, and now it's kind of prepping where we can inherit it. And so sometimes, beloved, when we are being rebellious and not doing what thus saith the Lord, he can what? He can prolong our journey. Some of us wanted certain things, but because we want to be disobedient, he can prolong that journey. And sometimes if we go too far, he can remove that thing that was for us. No, I shouldn't say he removed it. We remove it from our disobedience. So we go against God and he's, you know what? You don't want this good thing I have for you. All right, I'll remove it. Because you don't want it. We refuse. Like, okay, I'm not going to force you. You ain't going to force his beloved. Let's keep going. Verse 39.
And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Or.
Mhm.
And King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they pitched from Mount Hor, and pitched in Zalmanah. And they departed from Zalmanah and pitched in Punah. And they departed from Punah and pitched in Abath. And they departed from Abath and they pitched in Ajibram in the border of Moab. And they departed from them and pitched in Debongad. And they removed from Debongad and encamped in Amandi Lathium. And they removed from Amandi Lathium and pitched in the mountains of Abraham before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abraham and pitched in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho.
And real quick, Brother Kai.
Hmm?
So, beloved, when we look at this, showing all this we hear, departed, then we pitch here, departed, pitched here, right? Where are we pitching, right? This is when we deal with tabernacles. Remember, that was a reminder of what? Our journey in the wilderness. How we was in what? In temporary dwellings. We weren't there making a house and we're gonna be here chilling for a while, right? And then but we're gonna move here to this next. No, we didn't. We couldn't. We was they call them nomads. That's always moving. We might know what's, but regardless, we kept on moving. So we're pitching our stuff. We're here for a while. All right, gotta go to the next spot. Set our stuff up. Up, we gotta go to the next spot. Go there. Let's go. And this is that journey. And this is what tabernacles remind us. We was in these temporary dwellings all through this wilderness. That's the surface aspect of it. Temporary dwelling. Because we were in that wilderness and that's what we had. So it's to remind us about our what God, you know, did with us during that time. But of course, we know there's some deeper understandings behind it. But we'll save that when we do the feast, as some of y'all already heard the breakdown of some of that. Let's keep going, Brother Kai. What verse you at?
Verse 49.
All right.
And they pitched by Jordan from Beth Shema even unto Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. And Yahweh spake unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places.
If you don't remember there's something huge. Well, not huge. Remember when there was two tribes? I can't remember. Reuben and who was the other one?
Simeon,
Is it Reuben or Gad or Reuben? That said they didn't want to
I
yeah,
believe.
Reuben and Gad. They remember they was like, we good with this land right here. We want to set up here.
Mhm.
And remember Moses got upset with them saying, y'all want to set here, so you want to discourage the rest of the children of Israel from going to battle? And they agreed, like, no, no, no. What we'll do is basically, like, no, you're gonna go, you're gonna fight, you're gonna make sure the rest of your brothers they can get their inheritance, and then you can go back and set up shop out here. Right? So he's kind of putting this thing in there, also being a little clue. Remember, beloved, that that's what still was happening. Like I said, they got the piece over here, but now we're talking about this, but you gotta remember, just put the pieces together, right? So remember with that aspect, they were still having to help them capture that land. So we know the battle of Jericho, but when they passed over Jordan, right, that Jordan into the land of Canaan, you're gonna drive them all out. Very important. Drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you and destroy all their pictures and destroy all their molten images and pluck down all their high places. So he wants you to wipe everything out. Saying, I don't want you to, I don't want you to wipe it all out, destroy it all. We don't want to have no remembrance of who was here before us. Mhm. Very important. Why does the Most High do these things? He's being very specific because he needs us. I want everything removed. I don't want the remnant of them within you. Because a lot of times, beloved, when you leave something, it usually bites you in the behind, right? Look at a lot of stories, right? They'll spare that one person, and then that one person grows up and leaves armor, right? It's always that one thing. The Most High understands us as well. He knows how our minds work. We might start getting bored and everything. Start looking at one of the gods there and say, you know what? This God is what gave us this land, right? We always get stupid. It's like, nope, clear it all out, wipe it all out. And there's another thing as well, because they were not doing the things right in that land. I told you, Jerusalem has that spiritual element behind it that it'll spew you out. So it's sit there to be righteous. So when they weren't doing right, it want to spew them out. And now we go in and we're supposed to go out there and do the things of God. And as long as we're doing the things of God, we'll be protected. We're good. But if we do the same thing like they're doing and doing wicked stuff, it will spew us out just like it did. So this next time we have to wait for our king to come back, right, to Christ. And now when we go in there, of course, we're going to be dwelling in righteousness that we won't ever be removed. And that's always been the promise. You go there, as long as you're doing right, nope, you'll never be removed. You don't have to worry about anything. We couldn't do it. We weren't doing it on our own. But now when Christ come back on the throne, we're going to be living this thing correctly. So it'll be all good. All right, let's keep going, Brother Kai. Wait, first 50.
One.
Uh, Sure,
9.
you can start from there. Yeah, so you start from there. That's fine.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then shall ye drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and pluck down all their high places. And ye shall depossess the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein. For I have given you the land to possess it.
They possessed it, but now they they getting kicked out. All right, you going to possess it. Now this thing I've given to you to show us, beloved, this land always belonged to what? It always belonged to the Most High. Because he would think, oh, don't you think it was wrong? Some people were living and had this civilization, and y'all came in there and just took y'all would be a big bullies and all right. Y'all just came and took people out and everything. No, that land never belonged to them. Even though we know the whole earth is the Lord's, don't want to get twisted. We do. However, that land is the Most High's. Set that land apart. So he rented it out, you can say, to them. But they were being what? Bad tenants there. So we had the power saying, oh, well, you didn't want to listen, you broke the get out. And I'm bringing some new people in. And of course, beloved, they could have just left. But as a bad tenant, they wasn't going to just leave. No. You gonna kick me out. King ain't just leave. No, you gonna kick me out. You got to come here and get me, right? It's that aspect. All right. So we use the vessel that he used, but just removing them. It's the Lord's land. Never nowhere where they can just claim this is mine. I can do whatever I want. Nope. There's a uh there's a passage dealing with that. I can't think of the top of my head, but maybe if I run across it again, I'll present it. All right. Let's finish it up, Brother Kyle. Let's finish it up. It's a long chapter.
And ye shall divide the land by a lot for an inheritance among your families.
Hmm.
And to the more you shall give, the more inheritance. And to the fewer you shall give the less inheritance. Every man inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth, according to the tribes of your fathers you shall inherit.
Hmm.
But if you will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them.
Foreshadow, foreshadow, right? So the Most High will let us know certain things. So when it comes to pass, the Most High said it already. And this is what we don't learn. Say the Most High gives us these laws, commands, that let's look at them, beloved, and then see somebody 9.9 times out of 10, somebody's gonna go against it, and then you're gonna see the what? The reward of that. It's usually never great, never good. So he's telling you, all right, you're gonna go in there. I'm gonna divide the land. Remember, you're gonna divide the land. Everybody's gonna have their the land's gonna be divided amongst the tribes, the father of the tribes, and then within that land, right, you're gonna divide it amongst, don't have one person ruling the whole thing and then everybody else being subservient. No, you're gonna break it up and disperse it. So we talked about that a few chapters ago. In the last chapter, we're gonna talk about the women that inherited their land. Remember that situation? So we'll talk about that. I think at the last chapter is from like probably like 2 chapters from now, I believe. So we look at this, one of the big points that we're going to run across, beloved. But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land before you, then it ain't no maybe, it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein you dwell. Other words, beloved, they're going to be a pain in the butt. And see, the Most High know this is why sometimes, beloved, when we look at mercy, I ain't gonna get into it because we're gonna read it eventually. But when we talk about mercy, passion, those kind of things, don't always think, well, I have to let it go. I gotta do some things the Most High put in place. It's not your job to now give compassion, let loose something that the Most High tightened up. It's not mercy. No, you got to follow the word of God. So there's certain things when we have the capacity to have mercy with certain things that's not according to his word, right? We can show that compassion. But there's some things where he's saying, no, you got to remove that. It's not mercy now saying, well, Most High removed it, but I'm gonna give one more chance. No, if the Most High is saying that's it, that's it. Now, when you try to get mercy on that, it's not mercy. Now you're being what? Rebellious to his word. And these things happen. This is why you gotta pray for leaders as well, beloved. You really need to pray for leaders when it comes to certain things because sometimes they got to deal with that. Sometimes us, we like, man, dang, we want to give one more chance, but the Most High, can't do that. And we have to realize sometimes with the knowledge of the Most High, you have to understand it. This might be a hard decision, but it is what it is. So when he's telling that, now you got to drive them out. You can't have them in the camp. They're only going to bring confusion and problems. And these things, some of these things, this is specific to this, to where they're going on these kind of things. However, there is laws and everything, even with us. He said, I don't want them around. You should be amongst them. And we're like, well, Christ is merciful to us. God is merciful to us. So we're going to give them mercy. No, you're not giving them mercy now. Now you're being rebellious. Matter of fact, let's get an example real quick. Sorry, Brother Kai, I want to give you a break. I did a lot of reading without a break. Uh, I can read it, matter of fact.
Good.
You sure? You still read tomorrow.
Good.
Brother Kai, I'm sick of Brother Michael, man.
Nah.
First Corinthians 5. I appreciate the brother. All right, First Corinthians chapter 5, beloved. So this is the first thing I can think on top of my head. All right. So First Corinthians chapter 5, and let's read verse 1.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one have his father's wife.
So we got some fornication happening. All right, where somebody's what? That one should have his father's wife. So they taking their father's wife. That is abominable. That is against the law. He's saying this. He's saying not, and he's like, even the Gentiles not doing this. Y'all doing things worse than them. They not even doing this. But look at y'all doing this. Read verse 2.
And you are puffed up, and have
Mhm.
not rather mourned, that he that have done this deed might be taken away from among you.
So look at that. You got puffed up. What do you mean you got puffed up? You got high mind, you got cocky. You ain't worrying about it. You got puffed up instead of what you should have been doing is what? Mourning. You should have been humbling yourself. Think about you getting puffed up. Instead of you think about you puffed up, man, puff up his chest like you the man, right? Instead of doing all that, you should have been crying out. You should have been humbling yourself. Why? That he that have done this deed may be taken away from among you. Right? I know that it don't matter who you are, just come in, blah blah, don't matter, right? And to a certain point, yes. But then when you got things like this happening, he's saying you should have been crying out. So this person that doing this deed right here, might be taken from among you. But some people, are we going to be merciful? Well, I'm going to do this so when my sin don't come out, they don't kick, right? No, it's not mercy at this time. This is just being disobedient. This is being rebellious. You don't get no kudos for this. Let's keep reading.
For verily, as absent in body, but
Mhm.
spirit have judged already, as though I were present, concerning him that have so done this deed.
All right, I'm not gonna go further. I'm just kind of stay there. So verily, I'm absent in the body. So Paul, like, I'm not there presently in the body, in the flesh. I'm not there. However, but present in the spirit. Oh, but the spirit is there and have judged already. My spirit already judged the situation. as though I were present. Right? I still got to judge. I'm not there. I make the judgment as I am there concerning him that have done this deed. All right. So, beloved, it's talking about I don't have to be there. I heard the deed, and it's already a judgment according to this deed. All right. Well, I should have kept going, but just so you know, this is where the whole a little leaven left the whole lump and things of that nature. We have to be mindful of these things. Yes, beloved. It's not saying when somebody just make a mistake or they say you just kick them out of church. I'm not saying that. But we have to be not we have to be mindful. The scriptures give us certain instructions so that a little leaven don't what? Leaven the whole lump. All right. So we want to understand these things because, beloved, you and I must protect the people of God. That's one of the first prayers. All right, that's good. All right, we have the body, people come together. All right. Now, Lord, when you bring people in, we want to protect the true sheep of God. Why I'm saying that is because everybody that come in ain't gonna be a sheep. There's gonna be some people that's just wolves trying to see who they can devour. We're not praying saying, stay here. When a wolf shows themselves, what is the shepherd going to do? You think he say, you know what? The wolf's there, but we got a lot of sheep. I'm just going to go with you. No. Once he shows his finger, okay, we got to put you over here. And sometimes they always kick him out. All right, we need to separate this one. All right, we need to keep an extra eye on this one. All right, and then certain things, depending on what it is, some got to be removed. It might be family, it might be got to be removed because there's certain things cannot tolerate. It will leaven the whole lump. It will. And this is why we look at some churches, some of them didn't have big issues. Definitely was just starting. Might have some sincere people. But you get that devil and he go in there unchecked doing what he gonna do, he can mess the whole thing up. So this is why it even talks about praying for leadership and everything, because leadership got to be out looking out for it. But not just leadership, brothers and sisters, we got to all look out for it. Be aware of it. Praying, fasting. But the dirty work, you get to leaders. That's the beauty behind it, right? Right? Y'all can see it, y'all can approach it, right? Y'all don't have to get y'all hands dirty. I don't want y'all to have to get your hands dirty as well. But leadership, men, oh, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. But pray for leadership because just because sometimes we have to do it, it ain't always a happy feeling. We love people, our flesh, bonds with people and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like it's not personal, it's Father's business. And those things can hurt. All right. So this is why not just praying for leaders, this is why I tell y'all pray for one another as well. Because we don't want none of our brothers, we don't want nobody to come that we feel like we have to remove them because of these kind of things. But this is why we constantly have to be in prayer mode and fasting mode, beloved. Okay? All right, I'm into there for myself. Anybody had anything they wanted to add or take away? Or we close out. We good, we good, we good. All right, beloved. We're going to end it there. We're going to end it there. And look at this real quick. All right. Those that's watching online through YouTube, we say shalom or shalom, which means peace, and a yana habatham, which means we love you all. All right.